Peter Strauss is a doctor and a cop.
You are not coming in here!
I have to.
When tensions are high, he's the one to find solutions without bloodshed.
If we don't look incredibly stupid, we're doing this wrong.
Premiering CBS Thursday, Maloney.
Tonight, give yourself a laugh muscle workout with Dave, Bill Cosby, music by A Tribe Called Quest, and a whole lot more. Now, your local news.
Coming up next on News Channel 3 News at 11.
An update on a Hampton teen hit after getting off a school bus, and we'll tell you how to avoid an accident like this one.
And find out how a man charged with killing a local talk show host got out of a Hampton jail.
Those stories and more next on News Channel 3 News at 11.
The Holistic Healer on Seinfeld, tomorrow at 7:30 on News Channel 3. You're watching WTKR-TV, News Channel 3. Proud to serve all of southeastern Virginia and northeastern North Carolina. Live from WTKR, the station where local news comes first. This is News Channel 3, News at 11.
Good evening, I'm LeAnne Rains.
And I'm Tom Randles.
Newport News police are on the scene of a shooting.
It happened just before 10 in the Beachmont area. News Channel 3's Mary Kay Maloney is standing by live at the Autumn Lake Apartments with the very latest. Mary Kay?
Tom and Leanne, we literally just got to the scene a few moments ago, and police are still trying to figure out what happened. What we do know, though, is that a 16-year-old black male was shot and killed tonight. Police are still on the scene. The body still lays on the ground in the front of this apartment building here where he dropped, collapsed, and died. Police started getting calls around 9:30 this evening from residents that live in the area, hearing several gunshots go off. They got here and they found one person, the 16-year-old male, lying here. I talked to a neighbor just a couple of minutes ago, and she said that there were some teenagers out here playing football. She thought everything was fine. Next thing she knows, there are shots going off, and she saw the 16-year-old boy running. It appeared she thought had been shot in the neck, and he was screaming out that he had been shot, and moments later he dropped and died. Police, again, are still here on the scene trying to figure out what is going on. The crime scene techs are still here, but again, a 16-year-old male shot and killed. We'll have more later. Reporting live in Newport News, Mary Kay Maloney, News Channel 3.
And the latest tomorrow morning on News Channel 3 News. Thanks, Mary Kay, for that live report. Well, a Hampton teenager is recovering from a terrifying accident.
He was getting off his school bus when he was hit by an oncoming car. 16-year-old Mike Ellis, a student at Bradford Hall, stepped off his bus around 2 this afternoon on Foxhall Road when a car struck him. Ellis is at Riverside Regional Hospital tonight with a broken leg and several other injuries. A hospital spokeswoman says none of the injuries is life-threatening, and Ellis is expected to recover. There's no word yet on whether the driver of the car will be charged.
Today's accident serves as a wake-up call for all drivers. With school back in session, buses are rolling through the streets of every town. So schools are urging everyone who drives to keep a lookout for students. Steve Washington, who's with Hampton Schools, says that doesn't want any other family to go through what the Ellises are enduring.
I don't know what it is. I think sometimes we might be preoccupied with certain things, but what's more important than knowing that these little kids are getting off and on the bus, so we think that's extremely important.
Washington has been with Hampton Schools for 12 years and says he cannot remember the last time anything like this has ever happened.
Another Hampton family is struggling tonight. Their daughter was killed just over a year ago, and tonight the man accused of murdering her is out of jail. Dana Holloman walked out of prison today, free on $34,000 bond. Police claim Holloman was involved in a love triangle that turned deadly. He allegedly shot and killed local talk show host Kimberly Martin Richardson in her Hampton home last year. After several delays, Holloman is now set to stand trial in November.
The man accused in 14-year-old murder mystery pled guilty to raping and murdering a Navy sailor. Richard Whittle was brought back from California to face charges in the death of Pamela Kimbrough. She disappeared in March of 1992 and became the subject of an intense search. Her body was found in her car in 150 feet of water in the Willoughby Bay. Whittle faces a mandatory life sentence on the first-degree murder charge, and sentencing is set for December.
Virginia Beach called it the most aggressive campaign it has launched in years.
Ads that were ran across the eastern U.S. to drum up local business there, but how much of an impact did the ads really make? News Channel 3's Arnell Diemendahl has more.
You don't need to know French to figure what this TV ad's about. This and other commercials ran in different areas this summer. It's all part of the city's plan to draw more visitors to Virginia Beach. So how do some beach businesses rate the city's efforts?
The ad campaign was tremendous. The city did an exceptional job on where they were marketing towards. As far as comparing to last year, the big throw in there was the Olympics this year down in Atlanta, and we did have a hurricane right in the middle of July.
I don't know if it actually affected us. I didn't see a major increase where people coming in. I don't think it affected us at all. I don't think it was a major increase.
The season's final figures won't be in for another few weeks. The Visitors and Convention Bureau would then figure out if the ad campaign really worked. But area merchants say they'd like to see the ad continue. After all, they could use all the help they can get.
Yes, actually we had more Canadian tourists than we normally see, and we had them earlier. We used to only get them in August, and this year we pretty much had them in June and July.
Last year, without the campaign, visitors pumped in $2 billion into the city's economy, a figure city officials were almost sure they'd surpass just a few months ago. In Virginia Beach, Arnell DiMondal, News Channel 3.
The Visitors and Convention Bureau should have the final figures by October.
This has not been a good season for the Virginia Beach Farmers Market. Arson investigators are still investigating a fire that happened there last month. Part of the outdoor produce market was lost in this blaze. Fire spread through the wooden building very quickly, destroying many of the small businesses. So far, investigators have not figured out how the blaze started. Meanwhile, merchants want you to know that Farmers Market is open for business. Sales have fallen off dramatically since the fire, but you'll have a chance to show your support this Saturday. Most of the original merchants will be back to celebrate County Fair Day, an annual event tied in with the Neptune Festival. The future of the market is in question, so merchants and customers are gathering signatures. They hope to convince City Council to rebuild on the present site, even though the land is considered too valuable.
I'm not sure that money should always be the bottom line. I think those of us that have been coming out here for a long time and love coming out here should have a say in it rather than maybe just dollars and cents.
I just don't see how moving it could really be more economical than keeping it here. There's no way.
City Council is considering three options: rebuilding on the present site, building on a new site along the Prentice Ann corridor, or closing the market altogether. A decision is expected by December.
The race for a Senate seat is not close. That is according to a new poll released today. More than 800 Virginians were questioned by phone, and they put Republican incumbent John Warner in a very comfortable lead. According to the Mason-Dixon poll, 54% of Virginians support John Warner. 34% support Mark Warner. 12% say they're still undecided. Despite his lead, incumbent John Warner is losing favorability with Virginians. 51% of Virginians have a favorable opinion of the senator. That is down 3 points since the campaign started. 24% have an unfavorable opinion of Senator Warner, and 25% are neutral. 32% of Virginians have a favorable opinion of Mark Warner, while 23% have an unfavorable opinion, and 39% were neutral. This poll predicts the race will end in a 10 to 15-point win for Senator John Warner.
The developers of MacArthur Center in Norfolk say they've changed the mall's design to satisfy critics. They unveiled the latest drawings before a friendly crowd at Nauticus this morning. The plans now include more pedestrian-friendly entrances at points around the mall. The exterior will look less like a modern mall and more like older downtown department stores.
Can it absolutely reflect any individual's idea? No. It really is a reflection of a collective sense of what's appropriate for the setting that we're in, and that's what this plan has done.
The next steps include votes by the Planning Commission and the Design Review Board. That's coming up next week.
A delay of Olympic proportions for a Chesapeake sports complex.
Just one of the stories making Hampton Roads headlines. At 9 this morning, we visited the future site of an Olympic-sized ice rink near Greenbrier Mall. It was supposed to be finished in August, but construction was delayed. It should open in March.
Also at around 9, part of the peninsula lost electricity. A high-voltage underground power line blew out near Patrick Henry Mall. The power was off until about 3:30.
At noon, Norfolk students learn how to swim. 3 lessons are part of a school program designed to keep young swimmers alive. Just some of the stories making Hampton Roads headlines. More than 1,200 U.S. troops are in Kuwait.
They are preparing for a large military exercise in the Gulf. Soldiers from the Army base in Fort Hood, Texas, are battling desert sandstorms and heat in the northwest of the country. The troops, along with the crew aboard the Norfolk-based USS Enterprise, are on a training mission. More than 3,000 troops will be flown into Kuwait from Texas over the next few days.
Students at Penn State University are struggling to understand the violence that erupted on their campus. Ren Scott reports.
As students mourned at a makeshift memorial and investigators searched the site of the shooting for spent shells, the entire Penn State community tried to come to terms with Tuesday morning's deadly shooting.
Does it make any more sense today than it did yesterday?
No, I don't understand why anyone would do this to someone. I mean, the poor girl was just walking innocently to class trying to be a good student, and she dies for it.
The student killed, 19-year-old junior Melanie Spala of Altoona, is being remembered as a quiet girl with interest in English and journalism. She had just left her Spanish class and was walking with dozens of others when the shots rang out.
Heard the name and said, I know that name, and then when I saw her photograph, I was just like getting kicked in the stomach. It's one of my kids. It's one of my advisees.
Investigators now believe that the shooter, 19-year-old Jillian Robbins, was distraught over a failed romance. And several weeks ago, she cryptically told friends she was going to, quote, do it.
It may be what we're discussing today, but we don't know.
At 7:45 Tuesday morning, witnesses say Robbins walked calmly out of her apartment with a hunting rifle over her shoulder. Once on campus, she quietly read the paper under a tree until around 9:30 when she pulled the rifle from beneath her poncho.
After she had read the paper in a short period of time, she assumed the prone position and began shooting.
Now, in addition to the tragedy, there is also at least one incredible story of luck and fate. Not 10 feet from the spot where a second student was wounded, a third student had a bullet go through the knapsack on his back, and he did not receive a scratch.
That was Ren Scott reporting.
Jury selection is underway in the civil suit against O.J. Simpson. This is Simpson's second trial in connection with the deaths of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. 25 members of the jury pool said serving as a juror on this case would be difficult. Judge Hiroshi Fujisaki has excused 4 people from the case. The trial is expected to last about 4 months. Well, remember that skeleton that was discovered at the Jamestown fort?
Coming up,